Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Jah-Femi Telewa titled Head Noise. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves the SoundCloud page for this track with the art on the screen. Apparently this was produced, written and performed by Jah-Femi Telewa, with the instrumental produced by Ksenia Beats. And we're going to listen through this track from start to finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it. What do we got?
I don't even know where they come from. Well, looks like they're here to stay. Better make the best out of this. Voices taking control. It's demented cause I know they're after my soul. The whole situation's deep. Tumbling in the nighttime, I'm restless and I can't get to sleep. What is this I see? Is it real or is my mind playing tricks on me? They say talk is cheap. My sanity is pricey. I feel they degrade. My worth is deep.
You're so worthless. You're weak and not a real man. You'll soon be dead anyway. I'll make sure of it. You'll never get through this. I'm bugging you to the grave, scum. I'll destroy your family. It's the last thing I do.
The lyrics are so impactful. I'll try not to pause it again, but I just want to note, this is some of the heaviest hip-hop and rap that I think that I've heard in quite a while.
Sometimes I do flip and end up detained by officers who smile like they creeps. They want us like sheep, but I'm hard and I won't bend to give them what they seek. They're so demonic. Sounds they use, the way they talk got me using the chronic. Only God can judge me. Hope he's gentle, cause if it's for the crap I've done, I'm sorry.
You're so worthless. You're weak and not a real man. You'll soon be dead anyway. I'll make sure of it. You'll never get through this. I'm bugging you to the grave, scum. I'll destroy your family if it's the last thing I do.
I mean, it's stunning. It's just so impactful. It's such a simple track with this A-B side with the spoken verse and then that chorus voiceover. The head noise connection is immediate, but we're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. I actually wanted to just have a look at the lyrics first before we go any further, because I appreciate what we're discussing here. I feel like going into that specific to hip-hop and rap is especially important here. This song is effectively, I don't know where they come from. Well, it looks like they're here to stay. Better make the best out of this. It's dealing with the thoughts in our head, I suppose. Voice taking control is demented because I know they're after my soul. Struggling to sleep. I mean, it's so... it makes a lot of sense at face value. But then you realize how much it's affecting them when they talk about the only God can judge me, hope he's gentle because if this is for the crap I've done, I'm sorry. I mean, it's just brutal. You'll never get through this. I'm bugging you to the grave, scum. I'll destroy your family if it's the last thing I do. We're going to talk about this more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Jah-Femi Telewa titled Head Noise. Now, what do I think this track is about? I think from just having a quick read through the lyrics just before, it seems like this is someone who is awake at night and they're thinking back on the things they've done in a situation they're in, the mistakes that they've made when they've gotten themselves into trouble, how it will affect their family and everything like that. And it's their head, I think, in the chorus talking about how all these things are going to destroy them and they're going to lose everything and everything's going to be horrible. And it's so brutal. It is so brutal. And I appreciate the raw authenticity, introspection that is required to be able to make a track like this. It's a song where clearly we're putting our heart on our sleeve here. And what we're spitting in this track is just, I don't really know how you could have done it more effectively. The phrasing that we have from Jah-Femi Telewa is poetic. We have the spoken part at the beginning, like we're introducing ourselves. And then, of course, we have the actual rapped verses with clear amounts of space between each of the lines within the stanza. And that just allows us time to consider it. And it's a very, it's an easy to listen to, pleasant, subversive approach to it, where really, if you're not paying close enough attention, it is quite relaxing to listen to. But actually, yeah, no, then it's so dark with the context when you put it all together. And then of course that really kind of that extra bit of grit and rumble and kind of gain on that vocal in the chorus section there, where things are a lot more sort of finite and final. It just kind of, it hits home. You get more context in that second verse. And we have someone who can speak well and who can write well and who can rap well. And it's not done in a way where we're trying to constantly kind of fight for the attention of the listener. It's done in a way where we're giving the listener an insight into who we are in a way that is both respectful of their time and not trying to sort of like then it doesn't seem like we're too desperate for their attention. It's simply a person who is opening up about the experience they're going through. And it's very authentic, and I appreciate being able to be put out there. I think it's phenomenal. The actual production outside of the vocal performance there is tremendous. I loved the simplicity of the bass and drum affectations of it. I think that rolling with the root notes of those sort of key parts, the mid to higher ranges there, was just fantastic, just to keep a sense of extra intensity in those hook sections. And I think the drums as well. Well, to be fair, I think there were the 808s in the choruses of verse 2. I think it was just the differences in the vocal textures that came in. But I think there's differences in the intensity or the amount of hi-hats we have there. There's just little subtle variations in the percussion between the verses and the choruses, just to make the hooks sound a little bit bigger and more intense. And we have these kind of vocal chops that go on top of that chorus as well, with that those hook lines there. I just think that it's it's almost melancholic in its approach. It's gorgeous in the way it kind of floats around the stereo field there in the mid-range, and it's a nice foil to the dude in the lower range. But it's done in a way where the transfers between the verses and choruses are so slick. You know, we have that one main theme that we're repeating throughout, not to overcomplicate the actual arrangement or take away from the storytelling. It's just little subtle adjustments to like the percussion and the hi-hat and stuff that sort of let you know where you're at and kind of help sort of pace your way along. But there are these like subtle little kind of synth or guitar leads there that are arpeggiating on the sides there that are really pretty in that mid-range with a bit of chorus or something on them. There are these synth pads, which are kind of these fluffy layers that almost sound very dreamlike and hypnotic. And then you've got this like kind of little bells or sort of like more sort of, I'm not sure how to describe them. Almost like little like bells or like pluck kind of things going on there that sit really neatly as staccatoed elements and contrast texturally to those sort of synth pads. And you combine all these different elements with them not all being all together at the same time. Like at the start, things float. You have the bass and drums weigh you down, kind of like the dude is weighed down going through their situation in real time within the piece. But the theme itself, with the textures and tones there, the minor focus, but with a sort of ethereal, otherworldly kind of overall tonality to the harmonies and stuff like that, kind of makes you imagine that you are within their dreamscape listening to them speak their truth. And I kind of dig the approach to that. I think that the production itself from Xenia Beats is a very good fit for the story that Jah-Femi Telewa is because of that. Like, they're cohesive. And again, I don't think having any additional lead elements would have necessarily benefited things. Granted, in the spaces between the vocal lines, there could be some call and responses between occasional sub-leads, but it's usually Jah-Femi Telewa as the main. I think that's what you need in this kind of genre of music. Again, we're not trying to stick to traditional major and minors. There are some extensions or some sort of more unconventional chord progressions that I think they're occurring throughout here, but we do also, again, stick to the root notes in a way which is easy to follow with those bass lines. But the studio recording, mixing, and mastering is effectively the icing on the cake. I mean, like, it is a very loud track. SoundCloud, to be fair, is usually a bit louder than the other ones because they don't have the kind of normalization that Spotify stuff do. But even then, I feel like the loudness is exactly where it needs to be. It hits hard. And these headphones, the mix sounded phenomenal. And the reason I say these headphones will let you know if the mix has been done poorly. And they're especially kind of flat in that range. And I just appreciate the glow of the different sort of like plucked up bell parts, the synth pads, the little arpeggiated kind of sub leads on the sides there, the bass being thick and full but not overpowering, the drums cutting in when they need to but not in the way which was sort of too little too much, and there was dynamic range with those hi-hats as well. The vocals being clear in the mix, whether it was the spoken part or the verses or the different vocals, you could tell who was who. Very easy to follow. No weird resonances in the frequency spectrum, nice and wide in the stereo field. And yeah, it's just just a really positive review of Jah-Femi Telewa's track. The song titled Head Noise, and even though it sounds like they went through a terrible time, I hope things get better for them soon, and I appreciated being able to hear their work. So thank you for watching my review of this track. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their SoundCloud page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.